Hello and welcome to episode 91 of the HamCorp Training Manual. In this episode, we will set up the Naquadah fuel refinery as well as the large Naquadah reactor. But first, check out these motivational posters. HamCorp discourages the use of the word propaganda. So, I hope you like the new posters around the base. This will make sure that employees' morale is high and that their productivity never goes below 225%, which is the minimum required of you here at HamCorp. These are really good posters. I like them a lot. I need more. I need so many more. I want to fill up this whole room with posters. You can get these posters too on the HamCorp Discord. I'll never stop selling that because they're so good. Okay. Today I want to work on the large Naquadah reactor. This needs a few new blocks. The radiation-proof machine casing, which is just concrete, tungsten, steel, and lead. Field restriction casings, which need europium, MB field gens, and radiation-proof plates, there are two options for this, either Naquadah alloy and dense iridium, or Naquadah alloy and lanthanum. And the radiation-proof steel frame box, which is just HSSE and long Naquadah alloy rods. The controller itself is an assembly line process for 810 seconds. Holy shit. It needs tritium, it needs ZPM pumps, field gen, nothing you haven't seen before. It does need a Naquadah Reactor Mark III for the scanner though. And this one is also, nothing weird. I might make a few more of these actually, I think there's a Mark IV, isn't there? Yes, there's a Mark IV. I think I might make some Mark IV ones because these are really nice for powering miners on other planets, and it looks like to some extent I will still need to be doing that. So this would be nice to have because it's basically portable ZPM power. That's pretty good. The large Naquadah reactor needs cryothium to run extra efficiently, 275% efficiency at 1000 liters per second of cryothium. And for that reason, I have updated to 2.7.4, where there was a cryothium buff. A lot of the cryothium recipes have been buffed. The one for blizz rods, making them out of blaze rods, I remember that being so bad, but it has been significantly buffed. This is way, way faster than it used to be. I don't remember what it used to be, but this is much better. Also, the evolved cold blaze now just drops straight up cryothium dust. It used to do small piles or tiny piles or something like that, but now it just does straight cryothium dust. So I need to go probably reconfigure my cubicle, but I'll do that on my own time. So for operation of the large Naquadah reactor, I need 2,400 liters per second of liquid air. And if it doesn't get this, it will void my fuel. So I need to do a little bit of math to see how many cryogenic freezers I need to make the liquid air. And I will be using cryogenic freezers because this is a power gen setup. So I want to minimize the EU cost. It's not going to make a big difference, to be honest, but I kind of don't have a use for cryogenic freezers anymore now that I have the mega vacuum freezer, so I'm happy to just reuse them, get a tiny little bit of extra EU out of it, but it's so tiny, I'm making a big fuss over basically nothing. Regardless, I also need the cryothium for the efficiency boost, and finally, if I also provide molten Naquadah at 20 liters per second, it essentially gives it 4 parallels. So it's 4 times the power, but it's also 4 times the fuel use. I don't know if that also means 4 times the air and 4 times the cryothium. I guess I'll have to test that out. But this is going to be a lot of power. So I'm going to be going for the Mark II fuel. And this releases 2.3 million EU per tick for 3.5 seconds per liter of liquid fuel. That's a lot of energy. And even the Mark I is pretty good. It's almost 1 million EU per tick for 3 seconds. That's a lot. To make the Mark II fuel, I need some stuff. Some problematic stuff also. So we'll come back to that later. The Mark I fuel is a fusion reactor recipe, so I'm probably going to have to make another fusion reactor. And I need to get these light and heavy Naquadah fuels. And to be honest, I haven't looked that closely into how to get these, but I think it's from Naquadah Solution. But first, let me just construct the large Naquadah reactor. I don't know if my hatches will be able to handle this. I guess we'll see. I think I'm going to make a little expansion here on the Naquadah building. Like a little refinery right next to the oil refinery. So it's thematically appropriate. And where I'm going to put the reactor, yeah, that's a good question. Maybe here? Maybe I'll rip up this old gas turbine. I don't really use it anymore. Yeah, I don't know. I haven't decided. Maybe I should make a different building for it, or maybe I can raise the roof here a little bit or lower the floor. I really don't know. Undecided. Also, doesn't matter because I still need to do the fuel first, so I have plenty of time to think about that. This one single UV capacitor was so expensive. I now have a total capacity of 600 billion EU. That's pretty good. I feel like soon the numbers are going to stop losing meaning, and I'm going to have to start talking about power just in like order of magnitude, 10 to the 11. But I only make 10 to the 6 per tick, so this is like 10 to the 5 ticks to fill this up. Now, I've made the large Naquadah reactor, but I don't have any fuel yet. So let's see what goes into making these fuels. I need the Mark 1 fuel to make the Mark 2 fuel. And to make the Mark 1 fuel, I need these light and heavy Naquadah fuels. And both of these come from Naquadah solution distillation. Naquadah solution is from a centrifuge recipe, from Naquadah emulsion. And that is a chem reactor recipe with acid Naquadah emulsion, and that is, finally, from one of two methods. So I can either use hydrofluoric acid and enrich Naquadah dust, or I can use fluoroantimonic acid and Naquadria dust. It seems like this one gives me a lot more, and it also gives me extremely unstable Naquadah dust. I don't know if this stuff is dangerous, but I kind of doubt it. But I also don't know what it's good for. I mean, it's used in Mark 3 fuel, clearly, so I will need it. So I guess I'll just go with the Naquadria dust then. I do have almost 10k Naquadria dust and 26k enriched Naquadah dust. So I think I'm good for some time. Though maybe not. I don't know, we'll see. I gotta build a new building. Naquadah refinery building is done. To be honest, I did not know what I wanted to do with this, and I didn't expect it to turn out as big as it did, so I didn't really record it. But yeah, here's the inside. It does link back to the Naquadah part of the base, the Naquadah building. But this is for Naquadah fuel specifically. I think this is more space than I need, but better to have too much space than too little. Now I just need to set up the refinery, and I think I'll add another Lapatronic buffer, even though there is one right there. It's kind of a separate building with a separate function, so kind of makes sense to me. And I'll also hook up my applied energistics and everything, and then we can get started. Progress update. I have Naquadah gas, light Naquadah fuel, heavy Naquadah fuel, and Naquadah asphalt being made now. I'm also making radioactive sludge dust, which centrifuges into calcium, Naquadah, U-238, plutonium-239, tiberium, and radon. That's pretty nice. This is not the entire setup, but let me run you through what I've done so far. So, starting all the way here, this cryogenic freezer makes crushed ice from water. It's just straight water to crushed ice. That goes into this chem reactor with antimony and fluorine, and also ether, and that makes antimony pentafluoride, which is distilled back into ether, so that goes in a loop, and also into antimony pentafluoride. This one was the solution. This is just antimony pentafluoride. This goes into a chem reactor with hydrofluoric acid, and that makes fluoroantimonic acid. You've seen this before in the Naquadah line over there, and it's used again over here. That gets blasted along with Naquadria dust. But I don't want to use all my Naquadria dust, so I have a level emitter set to 4096. So when I have more than that, any excess is going to be sent here. And I did a little bit of math to check, and basically each dust here is worth about 50 million EU. Anyway, this makes acid Naquadah emulsion. That goes into the chem reactor, combines with quicklime. We get some byproducts back, and also Naquadah emulsion. That is centrifuged to get the radioactive sludge dust, and also Naquadah solution. And finally, Naquadah solution is being distilled right now to make these 4 products. It also makes water, which I'm trashing. Now the next step is to make Mark 1 Naquadah-based liquid fuel. This needs a Mark 2 fusion reactor, which is expensive, of course. I'm gonna end up with no light fuel, excess heavy fuel, and also excess Naquadah gas. The Naquadah asphalt is not used at all, so I need to see what to do with it. But I need this atomic separation catalyst to do anything, so I need to start making this as well. But this is used to crack these Naquadah fluids, and those are distilled to get a bunch of different shit. And as for the atomic separation catalyst, this needs orundum plates, raw atomic separation catalyst, and molten plutonium-239, which are actually all doable. Obviously, I don't have a helioflux melting core, but I can still do it with this extracting the ingot, and then the ingot comes from basically the same recipe. Orundum plates are made in a forming press with tiberium plates and raw silicon plates. Tiberium is kind of expensive, but I can summon meteors. And the separation catalyst is ardite, draconium, and blaze powder. Or quantium. So, yes. Very cool. The foundation has been set, but now I need to turn this stuff into fuel. Now that the Mark 1 fuel is done, I want to make the Mark 2 fuel. So this uses Mark 1 fuel, Naquadah gas, fluxed electrum. These are all fine. And nether star dust. Oh man, nether stars are a problem. If you remember from a long time ago, I had this nether star duplication setup that uses Salus Mundus and slime balls and a bunch of shit. This is not going to keep up. I need to use 4 nether stars per 25 seconds. Well, assuming, 100% uptime of everything, which is unlikely. But still, I don't think this is going to keep up. It might not be an issue because I'm also going to be investing in other power sources, so it might be fine. But nether stars are really annoying because there's only a few ways to get these. I don't want to automate the wither. It's kind of... I just don't feel like doing that. That leaves me with a few other options. So I can get nether star ore from a nether star vein, but that needs the tier 7 rocket, so that's not possible. I can do some blood magic rituals. Most of these are out of reach. This one in particular looks pretty nice, but it only gives me 466 nether star ore. Well, maybe a bit more with the radius expansion, but still. This one seems a lot better. 5,000 nether star ore, and a bunch of other dog shit as well. Well, it's not dog shit, it's decent stuff. But this means I need Icorium, and Icorium means Thaumcraft. Alternatively, I could get purified nether star ore from nether star combs. So bees. And I kind of don't think this is going to be fast enough either. So my options are somehow scale this setup up, which I think is doable. Or I can do more Thaumcraft. I'm not doing more Thaumcraft for a while. Or I could do bees. And you know me, I'm a bee hater. Well, I don't hate bees. It's just that I find them kind of boring because it's kind of just the solution to everything, which is a bit boring. But if it's really not possible to do anything else, or if I'm really unwilling to do anything else, then bees are kind of necessitated. But I think I'm going to start with trying to scale this up, because I actually am surprised to see that it's not the Salus Mundus that's my bottleneck, it's something else. So I will investigate this and figure out a solution. No matter what I figure out though, I'm going to need a mega chemical reactor because this is a UHV recipe, and I don't have UV energy hatches or UHV energy hatches. But rest assured, I'm getting this done today. This should be all done. I captured a slime and I turned it into an extreme entity crusher. This generates slime balls, which were my bottleneck for nether stars. I don't know if this is enough to keep up with the whole Naquadah thing, but I guess we'll see. If not, I'll come back to nether stars. Here's my mega chemical reactor. I haven't tried it yet. I just put it down. And I thought it'd be funny to put it inside the fusion reactor. I did decide to change this to a 64 amp energy hatch actually, because then I can do 2 parallels. 2 out of 256, almost there. But sick, we now have Mark II fuel. Alright, here is the large Naquadah reactor. I have a 256 amp laser source hatch. I don't know why it says amps per tick, it should just be amps, but I need to double check to see if this is actually big enough, because now I'm kind of doubting myself. But this thing is a lot bigger than I thought it was, and it kind of is... Oh my god, the pollution. It kind of is too big for this building, to be honest. But the thing is, it needs to be close to my buffer, because I need to use laser source and target hatches to transfer power, because the power from this thing is just way too large for cables. So let me double check my power calculation and see if this source hatch is big enough. I don't think it is. because I did this based off of using molten Naquadah as my booster, but I realized I can use the atomic separation catalyst for 4 times the power, so I might need a source hatch that's 4 times as big. I'll double check. But yeah, eventually I think I might make either an expansion to this building or refactor how it looks, or I might just make a new building somewhere. I don't know where. I might have to move the launch pad or something. I really don't know. I've kind of built myself into a corner here. Worst case, I can put this somewhere far away and have a bunch of laser pipes with transformers or whatever to bring the power back. But that's pretty expensive. I do indeed need 1024 amp laser hatches. To use a laser hatch with the LSC, I need UV tier glass. And UV tier glass is osmium reinforced borosilicate glass, which is very expensive. And it's a ZPM craft, so I can do this, but it is pretty expensive. Whoops, I took the UV glass out of my storage before realizing it was a quest, but in exchange, I will open the loot bag in front of you. Dog shit. Alright, the time is finally here. So take a note of these numbers. This is my current EU in 500,000. This is with having run out of nitrobenzene completely. And I'm still burning hog in both the pink and the blue set of combustion engines. Now I have here a 1024 ZPM amp laser source hatch and a laser target hatch. The source is the source and the target is the target. So this is the dynamo and this is the energy hatch. I do have to paint them so that they connect. And now we can turn this on and hopefully everything goes well and nothing explodes. You're now burning 16 liters of Naquadah Mark II fuel every 3.5 seconds. 16 because I'm using the molten atomic separation catalyst. And now this should be a lot of power. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. You know, to be honest, I didn't realize how much of a step up this was. And like, this is 100 million EU per tick compared to 500,000. That is 0.5%. I could honestly rip these up now and like get rid of my hog setup and everything. I mean, I need it for the other chemicals, but like I don't need hog at this point anymore. I've kind of ascended past that. But of course, that would be very unwise of me to do because if something bottlenecks here or if I run out of fuel, then it's GG. So I'm not going to touch any of this stuff. Now, I did say I wanted to do plasma fusion and also the core, but I am kind of not seeing the point anymore now that I have this. The plasma fusion would be good because I think that's kind of comparable. But the core, I don't know if I should do that anymore, if it's really worth the effort. Because the core, I think, is 5 million EU per tick, approximately, something like that. Which is great, but it's not 100 million. So I don't know. Let me know what you think. Should I still do the core? I think I will still do plasma, and that'll be next episode. But should I do the core? Part of me even wants to get back to progression now, because this is such a massive step up from what I had before. I don't know. Kind of undecided what I want to do next episode. Thank you for watching this episode of the HamCorp Training Manual. In the next episode, we will continue working on helium plasma generation. We need this not only for more power, but also for neutronium processing. After that, if I decide not to do the core, I will start working on the beamline. See you next time.